This is a magic mirror, and today I'm going to show you how I made it. The first step in making one for yourself are gathering the parts. The first part that you'll need is some wood to create the frame. You'll also need a monitor, one-way glass to create the mirrored effect, so you can see my hand is mirrored in it. You'll also need a Raspberry Pi, an HDMI cable, a power cable for the Raspberry Pi, and a power cable for your monitor. You'll also need a micro SD card and a computer that you can set this up with. Also a keyboard and mouse will be useful. So let's start at the very first step. You want to build a frame to the size of your monitor, and then you want to get your glass, cut it down to the size of the inside of your frame, place that in your frame, and then you will want to place your monitor on top of that. I used a few screws, and that held my monitor in place wonderfully. Next, we'll want to work on the software. Let's hop over to my computer and I'll show you how to set it up. Okay, so first for your setup, you're going to want to take a cable, and it's going to need to be, let me see if I can focus. Yeah, there we go. It's going to need to be micro USB. And you're going to want to plug it into the power spot on your Raspberry Pi. And you're going to see here, it's already starting to boot up. And then you're going to want to take an HDMI cable, and you're going to want to plug that into your Raspberry Pi in the HDMI slot. And then you'll also want to plug in a keyboard and mouse in your USB slot. And then that's the manual setup. Let's hop over into the computer and I will show you what you have to do. Okay, so you're going to want to hop over into your computer, and this won't be the Raspberry Pi, but this will be another computer. In my case, I'm going on a Mac. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download Raspberry Pi Imager version 1.2, or the latest version out there. And I'll put a link to that in the description below. You're going to want to choose an operating system, and that will be Raspberry Pi. That will be this Raspberry Pi OS 32-bit with this recommended one. And then you will choose your SD card. I don't have an SD card plugged in, but the SD card would appear here, and you'll choose the SD card. And then you simply write to the SD card, and that will write your operating system to the SD card. That way we can put it in our Raspberry Pi and download it. So, alright, so next we're going to want to hook up our keyboard and mouse to the Raspberry Pi, and then we will configure a few settings as follows. Let me start up the screen recording, and I'll just drag it over here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go under the Applications menu. We're going to go down to Preferences and to Raspberry Pi Configuration. There are a few things that we need to consider. First, you might want to change your password, as that will help protect your Raspberry Pi. The default password is Pi and Raspberry, and if you're having trouble getting on, that should be the username and password that you'll need. Also, you will need to enable Vnc Viewer. That's just one of the quick things that you have to do. And once you've enabled that, you can press OK. You click on the VNC icon up here, and it gives you the VNC server. And then you have an IP address, which you then will be able to, with that IP address, you will hook it up to your VNC Viewer via that IP address. So we will go ahead and we'll close this down. And what we're going to do is I'm going to scoot that out of the frame, and I'm going to bring in the VNC Viewer. And what we're going to do is you just go in and you'll search for that IP address, and then it should pop up, and you enter your password that you set earlier, and that will allow you to connect. To your Vnc Viewer. So here, let me align Vnc Viewer right. So now I'm in through Vnc Viewer, and what we're going to want to do first is we're going to want to open up a web browser, and there'll be a link in the description below, but it will probably be easiest to do this. Oh, we're running low on power. Okay, I just had to plug in the, what is it? The camera. I had to plug in the camera. Okay, back to what we were doing. You're going to want to go ahead and search for Magic Mirror documentation. Magic Mirror documentation. And then you'll click on this link right here. And here is the Magic Mirror website. We're going to skip the introduction and get to installation and usage. So you're going to want to run these commands in your terminal window. So we're going to go ahead and open up our terminal window, and we will run these, all of these commands. And to start the application, we will run npm run start. At this point, your Magic Mirror will boot up, and it will work. But it will not display weather. Well, it will display weather for the wrong area, and the time may not be right. It will be in military time. So let's change a few of those items. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. So here this is. Well, we've downloaded this. So what we're going to do is we're going to cd into the Magic Mirror. Wait, Okay, so now that we've CD'd into the Magic Mirror, there is a command that we run. I'll paste it in the description below. It's make your config. Wait, no, it's not that one. Wait, maybe it is that one. It's nano magic mirror config.js. You'll run that command and you'll get into the Magic Mirror directory. So we can come down here, use the arrow keys to scroll. And the first thing we might want to change is the time zones. So we'll go ahead and scroll down. So we will want the language to be English, and that will be on EN. And then units, if you want it to be in Fahrenheit, non-military time, you'll set this to imperial. And for the time zone, you'll want to set it to 12-hour time rather than 24-hour time. Okay, so there are only a few more things we have to configure in here. Here's where we will choose the modules that we would like. Right here we have the alert module, which will alert you if there's a Magic Mirror update. I leave that on because it's nice to know when there is an update. You will want the update notification, which also enables the update. The alert alerts you of items. The update notification enables it to alert you for updates. The clock, and also you can adjust the position of it. So the clock I could change to upper third or lower third. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it in lower third. Then there's calendar, which is another thing that we will want to set up. Calendar, you can set up, but I'm going to go ahead and skip it. I never actually got it to work. I commented out the compliments module. I just didn't have enough space on my Magic Mirror for the compliments, so I decided to comment it out. Comments are two 2 backslashes. Wait, you just I'm going to go ahead and return that. So a comment is 2 slashes, and it will comment out the line. And then there's the current weather. So this is something that we will want to configure. In the current weather, you will leave that as the same unless you want the module to be titled in a different name. You can adjust the position, but then you've got a few things that you have to change. Your location, it displays your location, and so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to set that to whatever location I need. And then we will want to paste our location ID. That's the stuff that we got off of that Google webpage in there. Go ahead and put that here. And then in that APP ID from Open Weather Map, we're gonna go ahead and paste that in there. You have to fill out the exact same things for the weather forecast, which gives you the forecast into the future. And then once you do that, you can adjust any other modules, the position, anything. Just don't edit anything below the line. And then to exit, you go Command X. Command X. Control X. Y for yes. Command Y. Or you can just say, Y for yes. And then you'll press return. And now we have adjusted all of the stuff that we need to adjust. So, what do we have to do next? Well, that is everything that we have to do in our terminal window right now. We're going to go ahead and open one of these Pi windows. We're going to go to Magic Mirror. In my case, it's Magic Mirror 32. And then you can go under Modules. Go under Default, and here are all the modules that come with it, default. Now, in here, in the Magic Mirror documentation, you can click on the modules, and in each of its default modules, it has dozens of things to change. You can change all sorts of things. Like, let's go under clock. It gives you configuration options. So if we go under clock here and clock.js, now we can configure all sorts of things in the clock function. So go through and configure anything that you want, read all of this stuff in the Magic Mirror, and it will give you more detail about what you need to change in here. It's actually very self-explanatory in the time in this. So like time format, you can change that. You can change the clock type. You can show sun times, moon times. There are tons of things that you can show. But then when you're done, you'll close it, and then it will ask you whether you want to save or not. But since I didn't change anything, it didn't. And now we're going to go ahead and go through all of these. And if we need to change anything, we'll change anything. Otherwise, we won't change anything. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to go ahead and start this. The way you start it is npm run start. And that should start the Magic Mirror. We'll look and see if it starts. So, it's giving me an error that npm run start will not work. That is because I'm not CD'd into the Magic Mirror directory. So go ahead and cd Magic Mirror. CD Magic Mirror. And then now we're going to go to npm run start. Now, it should start up. If it doesn't start up, some of the things you can do are go back and check in that directory that we edited in the terminal window and make sure all of your information there is accurate and good. If you're wondering if something's not right, just go back and readjust it and just comment out the lines until you get something right, and then slowly start uncommenting it until you can figure out the problem. In my case, it worked wonderfully. Here you can see how I've configured mine. I've got sun times, moon times here. I have news on the bottom. Then I have my current weather. I have my weather forecast. Then I have holidays and my time. And then it's telling me that a Magic Mirror update is available, which I can update on the Magic Mirror website. All right, this is working great. Now all that's left to do is sit and look at your Magic Mirror. There are a few add-ons that you can add. So we're going to Control Q to quit out of our Magic Mirror. And sometimes if when you plug it in for the first time, you may want it to automatically boot up without having to come in, cd into the directory and run npm run start. There is software that will automatically do this. What you'll want to do is first run where is the command? You're going to want to first run there's code online that you can use for that, and you can go online and research that. But what it would look like is, in my case, I downloaded a pm2 command, or a start mm.sh. So pm2 start mm.sh is the command line that I'm using. And once I return that, the problem is now that I'm CD'd into the Magic Mirror directory. So to solve that, I'm just closing terminal window and opening it. pm2 start mm.sh. And then after 20 seconds, it will start up, as you can see right here. So that's how you configure a Magic